Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Abzan Mav, which is very cool. I've been wanting to play Maverick for a little bit, and here we are. And something that's pretty different with this version is the boarding. I really wanted to have a clean board of just 5 3-ofs, and I've been able to achieve that, which is pretty sweet. In 3 Plagues, 3 Force, 3 Endurance, 3 Chokes, 3 Deafening Silence, just to keep things really consistent. These are kind of the blowout cards that I want against the decks that I want them in against, so I want to be able to see them frequently, and I don't want to be kind of playing around with other kind of one-ofs that I might not see. I just want to make sure that, you know, for the tribal decks, I have the Plague Engineer, for the blue decks, I have the Choke, for the graveyard decks, I have the Endurance. So that's pretty nice, and what that means is that I've gone a lot more sort of all-in on the main deck Green Suns package, so I'm playing both Teeg and Oof, where usually you see just one of each. I'm playing both Outland Liberator and Knight of Autumn, and then just playing Prismatic Endings as my removal 5 to 6. So I cut out the third Prismatic Ending just because of Ragavan being less of an issue, and I also went down on a Mother of Runes, down to a 3-3 split with Thalia, which I think is fine. I think in this deck, Teeg and Oof do represent copies of Thalia 4 and 5 against the combo and control decks, so pretty happy with that. And yeah, I think Mum's still great, but not as needed against the Ragavan decks. It's just really nice to have one to play turn 1, and if you really needed to, you could trade with a Ragavan, which was nice. The other card that I'm trying out is just Ghost Quarter over Wasteland number 4. I've run into a lot of decks playing Abundant Growth effects, either Yorion style decks or Enchantress yesterday, so I do want to try out the Quarter. Quarter also nice. I think the deck already has a really nice matchup against Depths decks, but it is nice to have an out against Depths and Cloud Post when your opponent has something like Pithing Needle on Wasteland. So I think it's worth trying and seeing how it goes, but otherwise the deck is pretty normal. The only other change I made was adding in a extra Birds of Paradise as a mana dork that can produce black. That's about it. I'm just keen to see how this board goes. So we did have one-ofs like Kaya, Gaddock Teeg, of course, which is the main deck, Path to Exile, but I think this this clean board should hopefully do the trick and see how it goes. But yes, some late night entertainment for you, Andre. It is in the morning here, which is nice, so gonna see how this performs. Abzan, nice streaming, and this can be smaller with a capital M. Nice. Hey, Carador. Yeah, I do like the avatar that we got. Where is it? I guess we'll see it here, which is pretty cool. All right, up against Big Bad Burn. Insert 1 column on the play, which is nice. And this hand is pretty solid. Really nice opener. We have 2 ways to accelerate. We have Green Suns to go and find either a threat or a piece of disruption. We have card advantage in Sylvan Library. We have removal in Swords to Plowshares. So pretty happy to keep this. The question is, what do I want to lead on? I think I want to lead on Noble Hierarch here. There is a chance that we draw Grist, and I want the bird for that black source, so I don't want the bird to die to opening removal. Hey Achilles, welcome. Yeah, Pox would be pretty brutal. Maybe we'll have to add some Bloodghast or something in. Maverick for that. Hey Duke, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Achilles, what would you say is the minimum you would need if you're wanting to look at... Oh, Stronghold, interesting. Bob. Okay, this is still fine because we get to go library and sorts Pashas here. Yeah, sorry, my question, Achilles, is if I'm wanting to start looking at, like, results for the deck, Game 1, Game 2, Game 3, who wins, the overall result, what the deck is on, is that the basics of all you need? I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm really missing. We were on the play. I think here it's just going to be swords and library. Library to dig for land number 3 and also maybe another removal spell. Misplay notes, yeah, that's pretty good. Who wins the die roll? Yeah, on the play, on the draw is a big one. Another Bob. And Reclaimer, okay. Oh, so we can go and get Grist, potentially. Okay. So the question is, how big is this Bob? How impactful is it? Matches played, win-loss, game win, game loss, and then league, challenge, premier event. Yeah, cool. That's very cool. I'm going to assume this deck has no reach, so I'm pretty happy to pay for these. The question is, am I happy losing the Grist to Reclaimer if we trade the Noble Hierarch with Bob? I could also just not care about the Bob here for one more turn. I think that's okay, and just try to build out my board. I don't need to play the Scrubland, I don't think. If we go Scrib Range is free, and then we untap and have 3 mana, we can play Mum and Thalia, which is pretty nice. Scrib, Mum, and Thalia. If we go Scrib, untap, Forest. It looks like it might just be like a Loam deck. We haven't seen a third color yet, but I assume either red or white. What I don't want to see is like main deck Plague Engineer. That would be pretty brutal. Ghost Quarter. Okay. Yeah, this is a Volrath Stronghold, so it looks like they're going for the grindy game, so I'm going to assume it's more of a Loam deck. Especially Dark Confidant, usually Nick Vick plays a lot of big creatures that Bob just gets a little bit awkward with. Or maybe Planeswalkers. Like Ugin. And the Mox also makes me think this is going to be some sort of Loam deck. Hey Vegeta. I did, yeah. So some changes happened within OBS where Twitch didn't, save the audio after, which is tough. But can just happen. Swords, sure. Okay. So what am I doing this turn? I think I am trading the Hierarch potentially with the Bob off Grist. So if that's the case, I'll need access to 5 mana, 2 for Green Suns, paying for Thalia, and 3. So I'll need 2 off Noble Hierarch thanks to Scrib Ranger, and then a 3rd land. So I think I will just pay here. I don't want to fetch yet either because Scrib Ranger with Dried Arbor could be something that's pretty awesome. So I think we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, untap, return, 5. Go and get Grist. I just really want to keep them off the extra cards, because that's definitely a way they can bury us. We do love Grist. I think in this instance as well, if Grist trades with Dark Confidant, they untap and attack with Reclaimer at the Grist. I'm pretty happy to throw away the Thalia. I assume they'll use Reclaimer in end step. Interesting. They're going to do this now. Maybe they think they can't respond to the Grist after, but Saga's pretty cool. Yeah, Saga's going to be interesting. We can find a few things off the top, like Wasteland, which is nice, but getting access to this Knight next turn potentially is going to be pretty good. This also kind of holds up their mana for this turn. Yeah, Grist is really cool. Big fan. Especially that doesn't get taxed by Thalia. If you just naturally cast it, being a creature spell is pretty cool. Okay, Second Saga is definitely a nice way to win this game. Knight. Alright, so it's going to be like a Abzan Loam list. But they don't get rid of the Grist here, which is pretty huge for us. We also get to set up Grist with Library for the card we want to put into the bin, which is most likely just Thalia. Yeah, put on top, put on top. Mill the Thalia. I do want to play the Knight this turn as well. And I think the bird is just going to be a trade with the Grist if we get to. Interestingly enough here, they can't make a token on their turn, or on our turn, which is pretty huge. They've opted for the Knight instead. They're just going to sack the forest for something else. Could just get like, I guess Bojuka Bog doesn't really do anything here, which is nice for us. So they can't make the Knight smaller. Hey, Cable. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sure I haven't. Mazavith. Okay. Yeah, I actually haven't been asked about the new channel land, but it does seem very powerful, especially as a instant speed, uncounterable way to deal with artifacts, enchantments, or non-basic lands is pretty absurd. Could just see like Shadow Spear here off the Saga. Retrofitter wouldn't be too bad because we have Green Suns for Oof. They get Shadow Spear, and they have the mana for it. They definitely attack Grist here, I think. Yeah, and I think here we just don't even block. There's no real point in blocking. They probably go kill the Grist and then in damage step untap with Maze. Nice. Very cool. We know about a Bayou on top. I could get a fresh start by sacking Knight here to get something, but definitely interesting. I could get Wasteland. And then we have the Bayou to untap the Knight with Scribranger anyway. I think I'd rather see a new card. Okay. We do potentially have Green Suns for Questing Beast. That's pretty interesting. That have to use the Knight to go and get something. They're playing Trop, so it must be a 4-color deck. We kind of need the Cradle though as well. I wonder if we take out the Shadow Spear with like Knight of Autumn. That could be the play. Let's have a quick look at the deck. Endurance is also pretty interesting. I don't mind Endurance. Just to buy some time. It does put the Sagas back into their deck though. Oof. Options. I don't think it's the Wasteland, and I think we're keeping the Cradle to be able to Green Suns here. But it's tough, because if we play the Green Suns, we don't have a Forest to untap the Knight with Scribranger. Just a really hard spot. Liberator is interesting as well. I assume they have a Needle as well, which is tough with the Saga. But I guess we have the Wasteland. So I think it is pay for this. And I think for now it's just going to be... Yeah, Cradle. Oh, maybe they'll try to use Knight here to Wasteland us in draw step. Could potentially get a second Knight. Okay. This is fine. Hey, Bookish Matt, welcome. I think it is just Cradle into... Night of Autumn. Oh my gosh. Oh no. I've totally messed that up. Yep, I meant to, I just totally forgot about Thalia as well. Alright, we can adapt. We can get Outland Liberator. We can hit them off this Saga. And then we get to just... Actually, if we hit them with the Saga, we don't actually need to use the Outland Liberator just yet. I do get a free attack with the Scrib. Yeah, Mining Man. I would say that I wouldn't play Bob over Library because of Bob being open to more removal. But with Prismatic Ending in the format, it's pretty 50-50. Like, there's things like Bolt, Fatal Push that hit Bob that don't hit Library. But I could definitely see a world where you do. Yeah, getting Night of Autumn there was definitely correct. I just didn't get my... We can remove Trample, which is nice, but definitely a tough one. Tough spot. Okay. So here what we can do is go... Block here, block here, block here. I'm pretty happy to trade the Thalia with the Construct. And then before damage, hit the Shadow Spear. Yes, what'll happen here is the Shadow Spear will shrink the Construct to a 2/2, and that way the first strike of Thalia will actually kill it, which is nice. And obviously I knew about that, and that's why I blocked like that. But yeah, it's actually a really good pickup. And I didn't actually need to double block there, which is pretty cool. So we got a 2. And now I assume they wasteland the Cradle. Okay. I mean, we're so close. Like, one Swords to Plowshares just changes this game. Okay. That's not too bad either. Takes him off some mana. Put on top. Put on top. We do have the Scrib Ranger to get back the Bayou here, which is nice. I do have the Windswept Heath, but I don't want to use it just yet for Dryad Arbor. I think I'd rather get the Oof down. I think Maverick's in an interesting spot. It's still a very fair deck. I think Ragavan was okay against Maverick. We have a lot of ways to answer it in Swords of Plowshares or Karakas or Prismatic Ending or just creatures. But, you know, like Ragavan taking like a Swords of Plowshares out of the deck or like hitting a Mother of Runes can be really brutal. That it was pretty tough. Also making the treasures makes our like mana denial strategy really not as impactful. So I think it's a net positive for Ragavan to be out of the format for Maverick, which is nice. But I do feel for Mark, who put a lot of time into Banana Maverick, and the deck looked really solid, which was like a a red version of Maverick that played Ragavan and was really strong. Like Mark did really well with it, considering like what the format is and where you could play the deck. So we have 2 Wastelands in the bin. Yeah, I think we'll definitely use Knight in end step to get a nice shuffle. Probably just getting a Savannah here. They can Wasteland us, which is a little bit awkward. So I could potentially get just Forest. I don't mind that. I don't want to get a fetch just yet. Because we are at 2, so I want to be a little bit agile with my life total. So the play here now is go and get Dried Arbor with the Windswept Heath, which then I can block and return with Scrib Ranger. So that can buy me some time. And then if they use a Reclaimer here, I want to see what they get, and then maybe trade the Forest in for the Maze. No. So we'll get Dried Arbor. Then I'm just going to sack this Forest now, before they can use the Maze. There is a world where I'm supposed to block first and then do this, but we'll see what happens. Oh, they can, yeah, of course. This is a little bit stupid, but hopefully it's okay. Bog. That's not too bad. Don't really care about that right now. But I was like playing around that before, so I should have definitely thought about the Reclaimer sacking the Maze there, because it's just a weak use of... Nice. Still, oh, okay. Okay. I need to gain, no, yep, okay, we can, we can't fetch, but we can, play this, sack this for Bayou, and then go black, 3 colors, ending this. Okay, here we go. Nice. We kind of get a free attack here. What makes Questing Bee such a good include? I think it's still strong against Planeswalkers. It does great things against cards like Mother of Runes. Mazavith. It's just a hasty creature as well, which is nice. A lot of players, I guess now with it in the deck, do realize that Maverick has haste creatures, but having that is pretty solid. I could have also bounced the R, but that's very correct. Okay. I didn't actually need to do this because I can't sack the Caracas, but that's okay. I'm probably okay double blocking here. Like the mocks here, they already got colors, so I'm not really worried about the mocks. Nice. I think, yeah, using the bird was a lot better. Green Suns for 3. Probably Knight. Yep. One, 2, 3, 4. We can Green Suns for 3 if we really want to. Could Green Suns for 2. Tough one for sure. Yeah, I think letting go of the dry double was pretty bad. 2, 3, 4. Grist is already gone, unfortunately. It's in exile due to the bog. Yeah, endurance is actually quite solid. I think it might actually be endurance. Yeah, nice one. 2, 3. Untap this, return this. 4. Endurance. Them. Also need to keep an eye on my clock. Library's huge at 22 life as well. Wasteland. They can also get back those okay. I will jam here with both. Because I'm not winning this game if I'm allowing them to untap with the library at 22 life. They could actually like sack the Bayou here, then wasteland themselves off the bog, which would make this a 5/5, and they're gonna do that, I think. So in response here, I'm actually gonna get rid of the Bajuka bog, because if they get a wasteland and sack themselves, we can't actually make this bigger than a 5/5. Ah, no, but then that makes that bigger. Ah, no. I'm just gonna. No, we don't have an out. We don't. Yep, that was a terrible attack. I like the bubs. I like the endurances. I do like the Force of Vigor, at least one. T can come out. Oof can come out. Thalia's can come out. Do not. that was terrible. I don't mind taking out the Ghost Quarter. I still like the Beast as well, just to have pressure. Clip it, yeah. Yeah, it was just an awful attack. Cover your eyes, I saw nothing. Could just be a Green Suns. Interesting one. It's like you've never bolted a Goyf. Yikes. I really like the acceleration of Mana Dorks here. I think it might just be a Green Suns, as weird as that sounds. I kind of want all of these. Yeah, I could take out Liberator or Night of Autumn. Those trading with a Saga, though, are pretty nice. Thank you, Achilles. I wasn't dead, no. But, like, them untapping with the library at 22 life was just... I think it's a shame concede, but also, like, the time's a big factor as well. I think pumping more time into that game instead of games 2 or hopefully 3 can definitely catch up on us. Alright. Kind of an awkward hand against Wasteland, but it's got a bit of everything. Just losing the Savannah would be a little bit too huge. Yeah, untapping with Mum would have been nice, I guess. I think the issue with taking out a creature instead of Green Suns is that we got to a consideration where... okay. This is probably worse than their opener, to be fair. Like, they're most likely playing Plague Engineer post-board. But having an out for, like, Library is pretty good. Thanks, Achilles. All the best. But yeah, it's tough because, yeah, flipping Outland Liberator would be pretty sweet. Ugh. I can't really afford just to get a Plains here, so I'll go for Savannah and get a Mum. At least the Swords on the Mum makes me think they don't have a Plague in hand, which is great. Yikes. Okay. Definitely feel like we're an 80-20 to lose this. Hey, Duck Poet, welcome. Yeah, I don't think there's a world where we try to even put the mental energy into that game. Tough. But yeah, maybe there it was a consideration of keeping the first hand. It's still tough because the Double Swords Wasteland hits the first one, but yeah. Just a really... maybe even a mulligan to 5 is better. Because the deck does have some pretty good nice ways to recover from a mulligan with like Sylvan Library. I'm going to say it was just 4-color Loam. I think 4-color Loam is just the name. Hey Cloud, welcome. Hope you're well. Yeah, I could get playing game 1. I just wasn't enjoying it, and I don't like playing games that I don't enjoy. But I think my opponent just has too many outs there. And even like with the knight, they get to, seeing that we wastelanded them first, they can get a saga. We're at 1. We have to start chump blocking with multiple creatures. It's pretty tough. The mum can't get pro to the token. Yeah, it looks a lot like the Ozymandias, Matt Vuk's list, but playing blue. Obviously for Leovold. Maybe for like Flusters in the sideboard or something. But we didn't see too much other than Leovold in regards to the blue splash. I guess you get like Prismatic Ending for 4, which is kind of cool. Alright. Yeah, Uro seems like a good one as well. Redmond Barry. This is just an awkward hand of big creatures and not real great mana, so pretty happy to mulligan this. This is a lot better. I'm going to keep this and bottom the Ghost Quarter. Opponent went to 5. Prismatic Vista. Okay. Most likely, like, if I see Prismatic Vista, I automatically think of, like a blue-white X deck. Mountain. Okay, maybe Jeskai? No. Interesting. Crushing Footfalls. Okay. Bit of a yikes. Does Teeg stop Crashing Footfalls? I don't believe so. No. Because it's a 0. I probably don't mind just Grist here, to be honest. Yeah, very cool to see people trying it out in Legacy. So wonder if they're like on a shardless. Oh, just the 2 lands. That's it. All right, it's pretty good for us. Probably just want to go for Knight here. Force Negation, pitching Force Negation. Okay. This mana from my opponent is a tough one. I feel like this is like a small Bitter Blossom with Grist, which is kind of nice. Hey, S33, thanks for the follow. And Bullet Time, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're both from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. Wow. Nothing. Canopy's nice. That is a draw. swords. 1, 2, 3. We're pretty close to just lethal next turn, thanks to Grist. Knight. Okay. I don't really want a swords one. I don't mind attacking with everything again. And seeing how they block. 1, 2, 3 creatures in the bins. They're essentially at 9. What if we attack with everything then? If we attack with everything and they block here and here, they take 4, 5, go down to 7. There's 2 more creatures in the bin, which put them down to 2. That doesn't work. That is correct, Vegeta, I believe. If you give protection, trample still occurs. It just doesn't kill the creature. Yeah, if I pro-green the knight, that's 4 for sure. We do have a way to return it as well. Interesting. Maybe the line is actually to give pro. I guess we can start by playing out knight. Just to use my mana. And now we can give pro-green. And then Scrib Ranger, untap, return Savannah, play Savannah. And now we're definitely putting them down to 8. They can block 2 creatures, but they'll still take 4 and go to 4. And then, yeah, if they block an actual creature here, they'll die to the Grist. So I think that's the play. Having a double check here, they'll take 8, get down to 4, and then, yeah, Grist will just kill them, which is nice. Boom! We found the line! There we go. Nice. This is going to be an interesting one. I think Teeg can come out. I think Oof can come out. Outland Liberator, potentially. I might keep Knight of Autumn just because it has that Swiss Army Knight effect. And it might just be the Plagues. Like, at least they can kill Rhinos. I don't really want to change much else without seeing the deck. I have no idea what Legacy Rhinos plays, unfortunately. I'm going to assume this is like RUG Rhinos. You might be able to find my opponent on MTG Goldfish. Deafening Silence is pretty good at slowing them down. Pretty happy with this hand as well. Hey, Evil Green, welcome. Hope you're well. I wonder if they run Blood Moon. Yeah, stopping... I guess it doesn't stop cascade effects if they rely on creatures, but if they don't rely on creatures, it does. Okay. Hey, Victor. Welcome. I hope you're well. And thank you. Wow, just the forest? Surely not. I mean, Grist was so solid last turn that... I kind of want to go with Thalia here, because Grist isn't even taxed by Thalia, which is nice. They're going to force that. That's not too bad. I'd rather they force the Thalia than the Grist. Hey, Hannah War Elf. I think I know who you are. Okay, there's Crashing Footfalls. And no land. Alright. Caracas into the bin. Get pumping. Lalea is very cool. It's turn 4, they only have one land. Wow. I wonder if they have Fury. That'd be pretty interesting. I'm also going to play Knight here instead of Ramanap, because next turn I can play Ramanap and get back a land and play another 3-drop as well. Especially to keep a forest hand with no Crushing Footfalls, because they did cast the Footfalls on turn 2, I believe, not turn 1. So I wonder why they kept it. I wonder what like the big payoff card is if they find like one more land. Nuts. Engineer into Rhino is definitely interesting, especially because then things like Endurance can attack through them. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I just saw it. I just saw it. I mean, Grist with Cradle here is insane. I do want the white mana for the Knight as well, so I am just going to go Knight. Endurance. Oh my gosh. We'll target them. And then play Thalia as well. Come on now. Like, that's just a sick turn. Grist and Cradle are insane. I mean, we pretty much have lethal next turn. Way too many creatures. Wow. Oh, and Beast to, like, finish it off? So good. Okay, that's fine. That's not too bad. Yeah, I don't think they have enough. Like, they can block an Endurance and still take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, they could survive, but looking pretty tough. Hypergenesis would be pretty sweet. That would be a very cool one. But yeah, definitely some more, just some small misplays. Just adding up. Alright. Up against Wolfie. On the draw. This hand's pretty good. I'll keep this. Interaction, something for combo. Mana Acceleration, Green Suns. Script Ranger for shenanigans. Forest. Ah, okay. At least we do have Green Suns for Gaddock Teeg, which is nice. I don't think I want to swords this just yet. I'm pretty happy to build out the bird. And then next turn we can 2-spell. I'd rather hit something like a Wirewood, a Heritage Druid if they're on that build. But luckily we do have these bad boys in the sideboard. I'm also going to change my shirt. Be back. Nothing turn 2. Interesting. I think here then it's going to be 2 mana Script Ranger, untap return, play Noble Swords. I'm going to see what they do in their turn anyway. Or if they do anything end step. The small advantage to taking them off the Shepherd here is to take them off Cradle, tapping for mana. But I think I'm happy to wait just a little bit more to see what I want to hit with this Swords to Plowshares. Because it's not like they can natural order this turn off the Shepherd itself. Glimpse is fine. Nettle Sentinel is interesting. So there is a world here where I want to hit the Shepherd now in response to the Nettle Sentinel, so that they can't play Cradle for 2 mana. Because if they're playing Sentinels, they're probably playing Heritage Druid. So I kind of want to respond to this by taking them off that. Because if we Swords the Shepherd here, let the Nettle Sentinel resolve, and then they have Cradle, they can only put 1 creature into play. But if they Cradle tap, and we take care of the Shepherd, they could then go Elf and Heritage Druid and keep going off. So I think just to play it safe, I'd rather just hit the Shepherd here. Which is tough. Yeah, it also means that Birch Law is their only way to keep going if they have access to that off the Cradle. I could Swords the Nettle in response to Druid, but then if they have another creature like this... Okay, nice. This is actually fine. So now I definitely want to go for Green Suns for Gaddock Teeg to take them off natural order. So we have access to 3 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana. So I can Green Suns Fatigue and play Thalia, which is pretty nice. 1, 2, 3. Green Suns first. Teeg. Untap bird, return. Thalia. Attack for 2 in the air. A little bit scary with the Shepherd there because the Cradle does allow them to actually just kind of start attacking for 5. Druid. So really want to get this knight down ASAP and get Wasteland into play. What I don't want to see from them is a Elvish Visionary, and obviously a Wywood as well. Because a Natural Hoof is definitely on the table here. There's Wywood, which is a good start. I'm not sure if this sort of build plays Elvish Reclaimer. I assume so, but I'd love to, yeah, hopefully find a Wasteland or get a Wasteland online before they find a Reclaimer to make use of that Cradle. This could just be a Natural Hoof here. Play a land 8 mana. Ah, just go for this. Okay. It's pretty good as well. I think I have to block. No. I'd rather just draw into Wasteland. Negative. I'm probably not attacking with the Teeg. Oh, not blocking with the Teeg, so I might as well attack with the Teeg here. And see if they want to like triple block. They don't. That's fair. Dried Arbor does give a free block, which is nice. It also pumps up the Knight, which is pretty good. Alright. One, two. There is a world where I was supposed to untap a creature as well and block with like Noble instead of Scrib. I definitely should have done that. I mean, what happens... Yeah, it's not great. I was going to say what happens if we put the Thalia and Knight in front of the Allosaurus Shepherd. But then we just have to block, like, awkwardly otherwise. I guess then they could just return the Wirewood potentially. And I do want the Dried Arbor to stay around, so we'll keep that. Yep. Swords. I mean, even if we wasteland the Cradle here, they could just swing with everything and we die. Collector without Liberator, Night of Autumn. I do want the Plagues. I think Thalia on the play is just better than these cards. There's a world where like Night of Autumn could potentially be better than Thalia number 2. But at least on the play they do something. Nothing really else to bring in, so... It's an okay hand. We get to like turn 1 Noble and then potentially turn 2 Swords and Wasteland. But it doesn't really have anything other than Swords and Wasteland here. It doesn't have black mana either if we draw into Plague Engineer, unless we get the Knight online early. I'm pretty happy to mulligan once. I do want to try to aggressively find that Plague Engineer because this version is just so much quicker that I do need to find a way to keep them from going wide. And without like Sylvan Library or a way to do that, it's pretty tough. Okay. I guess Grist is a removal spell, which is kind of nice. Probably don't want to go down to 6. It is very similar though to the other hand, but we do have Green Suns for Gaddock Teeg, which is quite nice. So I'm going to keep this. I'm going to bottom the Caracas. I think that's the weakest hand, the weakest card here. However, yeah, because the Noble taps for white. That's all good. So we can get Bayou into Noble. Opponent goes to 5. Bayou. Noble pass. Green Suns. Okay. Library's interesting. I think here it's just got to be Knight. And then next turn we can potentially Grist and Green Suns fatigue thanks to Cradle if we draw a land. Alright. I mean, they could just Natural Order here as well, which is pretty brutal if they have Cradle and Natural Order. But I feel like we had the turn to not play. Okay, this is okay. Two cards left. Wirewood's pretty good. One card left. Yikes. Plains. Okay, nice. So now we can play Grist, and then also... We're definitely playing the Plains. Now we have access to 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, but if we play Grist, tick up Grist, make a 1/1, we then get access to an extra 3 mana for green suns, which is nice. We can't just find engineer, unfortunately. It isn't a green creature for green suns. There's also a world where they have Cradle and Shepherd just gets there, but with the Wirewood it's quite hard to deal with the Shepherd. I do have access to Wasteland on the Dried Arbor as well. That's not too bad. Hey, FP. Yeah, especially the faster builds are definitely a lot more trickier. I do like the kind of mid-range versions that like Newton's playing. I think here it is going to be Grist and then Green Sun's Fatigue. What do we bottom? Please don't be a plague. what goes into the bin here? Really want to keep those in the deck. Mum, okay, that's not too bad. Better to keep waste for Cradle. That could be the case, but I also like the thought, like if I keep Cradle for Wasteland, they get to use it straight away anyway. This is 6 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. So we take the Dried Arbor away from here and they have Cradle. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. 6 if they tap the Birch Law. So I actually don't mind going after the Dryad here. Yeah, hitting Teeg with Grist would have been pretty tough as well. But for us to get the extra mana off the Cradle, we did have to go that line. But just want to try to keep them off as much mana as possible. This also makes it a little bit, like, more awkward for them to try to attack into the Grist to get rid of it. And like if they don't make us trade with the token, then we do get to use the token to trade with a creature and keep the Grist around, which is nice. So there's Cradle. Definitely a lot of lines though, which is always fun. Six mana. Could just be like power up the Nettle Sentinel and attack the Grist to make us block with the insect. Ah, did they just return the Shepherd without activating its ability? Or am I missing something? Because it takes 6 mana here. Hardcast Hoof? That'd be pretty good. Okay, this is fine. If they attack Grist, we can block it. It doesn't have Trample, which is really nice. Alright. One-time dealer. Nice. There we go. Too good. My only question is, so we currently have 3 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana. So we don't even need to Grist first to play the Plague, which is nice. Nice. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I don't think I would have named Insect here just because we can use the grist to get rid of the wirewood, which is really nice. But I assume in response they might have tried to return something. But I think just because they have the Birch Law and the Allosaurus Shepherd, I'd rather straight away get the 2-for-1 or the 1-for-1 if they do play the wirewood. But it's, yeah, definitely interesting. All right. Elves. I probably don't want to change anything. Again, Thalia Scoos is not really doing anything, but I think that is better than cards in the deck. So I'm pretty happy just to run it back. And the nice thing about Grist as well is that it can turn Thalia into a removal spell. I think we're not getting any better than this. Like turn 1 Bird, turn 2 Plague. Just have to make sure we don't lose to a turn 2, which can happen, let's be honest. Especially if they start off with like Nettles. Hand is nice, but I am a little bit concerned about being on the draw here. Okay, well now we get 2 creatures that we can hit, which is pretty nice. Do they have a Cradle? Dried Arbor. Okay, wow. Huge. I mean, we're definitely not out of the woodwork either because Natural Order is definitely a big card here. They could have like Cradle. Yeah, Cradle Natural Order does it. They didn't have Cradle, which is nice. I'm thinking about just naming Arbor next, or Dryad, sorry. Just to, again, keep them off mana, keep them off the ability to fetch for Arbor end step. I could also attack with the Engineer and see how they block, because that gives us a lot of information as well. I think in this spot, I'm pretty happy to go after Arbor. Because it also turns off this fetch land as a Dried Arbor. What it doesn't do is if they actually have something like Abrupt Decay in hand or Assassin's Trophy, then end step fetch for like a trophy or a Black Source and hit the Plague Engineer is a little bit tough. The question is, am I more scared of them getting rid of the Engineer on Elf, or am I more scared of Natural Order? And I think for me, it's Natural Order. Also, keeping them off mana is just pretty huge as well. I'll see what they do in response to this Engineer. They just let it resolve. Okay. So I do have the option here as well of just naming Elf again and killing the Nettle Sentinel, which is interesting because we do have a lot of outs to the Dried Arbor in Wasteland. There's another Reliquary is also a way to find Wasteland. They have 3 cards in hand. Definitely tough. We can find ways to deal with the Arbor, but if they kept a hand and they haven't shown like a glimpse yet, they haven't shown a Green Suns, they haven't shown Natural Order. So I feel like it's a Natural Order hand. So we take them off the Dried Arbor here, they untap and find another mana. The nice thing here about taking them off the Dried Arbor is that they can't get another Dried Up at end step, and then Cradle doesn't tap for 2 during their turn. So it takes another turn for them to find an additional land to be able to natural order. And maybe by then we can get enough things in play to actually get through a Progenitus. Yeah, I think to not lose, it's going to be Dryad. But it's I mean, that could just be like a massive point in this game. Yeah, and I think for me, it's playing around the natural order. Nice. No fetch is pretty huge. And like getting this Mum online also turns off the trophy. Nice. And they're going to try to just draw out of this. Which is pretty tough. We get to go Knight and Mum next turn. I assume you can name forests? Yeah. Okay. That's pretty nice. That's actually really nice, because it just takes them off the ability to draw into a land in the natural order. So thankfully Sword there was just the best draw. I think the only other draw that's better than Sword is just Green Suns for Gaddock Teeg. Yeah, maybe Forest. It's Forest Dryad. Yeah, maybe. I don't think you can name Forest, because that's more a descriptive term of the actual land, not the creature. But yeah, again here, just going to play the Knight and then probably Swords and Upkeep. Just to keep them off that creature before they can natural order. Yeah, nice. Very cool. Tough one for my opponent. I mean, acceleration on the draw into Plague is just very hard to deal with. Even if you do have some sort of answer, it can be pretty tough. Play around another and type in Forest of Science. Nice. Very cool. Yeah, always nice to get Elves. I feel like there's definitely an advantage with the Abzan build with Plagues, of course. Because if you're on like green-white, relying on things like Containment Priests or Gaddock Teeg by themselves is pretty tough. On the play, which is nice. Hand is pretty sweet. Gonna keep this. Foos Wash here on the play. Probably just going to go for a Bayou. Hey Jack, welcome. Oh, we are 2-1, that's true. Yeah. Could go for Forest, to be fair. Don't really need to show the black. The only reason to show the black is for... Yeah, I'm actually happy to get Forest. Prismatic Ending in the main deck, and if we naturally draw into Grist, but we have Knight to find those, which is good. Hey Boyd, a huge thank you. Too kind. It is pretty nice to have a old mate banned from Legacy. It is, yeah, pretty happy with that. Pedal. Okay, it's gonna be Sneak. They chose to not shuffle either. So we have a lot of options here. This is actually a really good one, because we can be aggressive and Knight the pedal. We can keep Knight in hand for show and tell into Omniscience. We can play the Knight of the Reliquary out here, which is pretty strong, and not show the Karakas, and just play the Ghost Quarter, and then have Karakas as an out if they just try to put in a big fatty. We could Green Suns for Collector Oof to turn off the Lotus Petal. We could Green Suns for Teeg to turn off, like, Soul Land into Sneak Attack. A lot of options, which is pretty nice. I don't think we're playing the Knight. I don't think we're playing the Karakas. I think we're just going for another Reliquary here. Because Knight turning on Wasteland for this Volk is pretty huge. So I like Ghost Quarter into Knight. Also just built out my board to actually have a threat, which is pretty sweet. Teeg does shut down some nice targets as well, which is pretty cool. But the Cunning Wish lines are always the tough ones to beat. Especially if they show and tell in Sneak Attack here, then it's really tough. That's the thing as well. Ah! So we could put in Knight of Autumn here, but if they have Sneak Attack, then they just put in a creature. But if we put in Karakas, then they can't. But if they put in Omniscience, then the Karakas does nothing. What is the read? I want to take some chat before we do anything. Yeah, I think Knight of Autumn is a pretty good one. Nice. Hiya! Ah! Ooh, alright. Put it in a poll. Yeah, I need a mod to do that. Oh, okay. Nice. Oh, okay. Okay. Ending. Ending's nice. So we can take out the pedal, take them off the Volk. I could also take them off the extra mana here. That's an interesting one. We can also Green Suns for Ramanap and Double Waste. That's pretty cool. I think that is it. Double Waste takes him off 3 mana. Like they have 4 cards. If they force us, they have 2 left. Here we go. Oh, we can't Double Waste. That's very true. Yep. Yep, because I just played a land. Yeah, very true. Okay. That is fine. I think it is just going to be Oof then, to take them off the Lotus Petal. The only thing there is that then the ending isn't really hitting anything unless they play Sneak Attack. I could get Gaddock Teeg, which turns off Hardcast, Sneak, and Force, which is less of a real issue. Could also go for Outland Liberator. That's pretty interesting, but then I don't have the mana up to actually do anything. Grist is kind of cool, but I don't think I need that either. Yeah, maybe just getting Ramanap and then putting Wasteland on the field is better. Oh, I could also get Scrib Ranger, but we've already played a land for turn, so I can't untap the Knight. Interesting one. Grist? Grist is definitely interesting, but Grist doesn't... I think Karakas kind of answers their creatures. I think it might just be Oof and take them off the Volk. But again, the ending is kind of answering the pedal. It's a case of, do I want to turn them off the pedal for the next turn? Or do I think I have the luxury of waiting a turn to untap with the Prismatic Ending? If I get Teeg as well, I then can't cast the Prismatic Ending. We have made a land drop, unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, I think it is just going to be Oof and Wasteland. I'm going to take them off their colored mana. It's definitely interesting. I can take them off like their colored mana or the ability for them to go land into Show and Tell again. So I think I'd rather take them off the ability to dig for Show and Tell or something to put in off Show and Tell. But it's definitely tough. The 2 damage from Tomb also adds up. Okay. They played it, which is interesting. Green Suns. Wow, okay. So we don't have to think, but like a little bit tough. We do have a 2-turn clock, which is nice, so maybe that's what they saw and just didn't like it. I like the forces. Endings can come out. Swords can come down. Ooze can come out. Ghost Quarter can come out. I like the Deafening Silences to slow them down a little bit. Chokes are pretty good. Probably don't need all 3 on the draw. The only reason that I like Endurance is that if you put a creature in, like, Endurance off Show and Tell, you then have priority with the ETB trigger, which means you can then force a Vigor like an Omniscience or a Sneak Attack, which is pretty sweet. I could take Mum out, especially seeing they're probably playing Kozilek's Return, if not Pyroclasm, which is okay, but I don't mind having at least one Mum in the deck. Oof is fine, Outland Liberator is fine, Scrib Range is fine. Could just be the Endurance. I still like Beast as well, just as like a nice way to finish games pretty quickly. I think this is just going to be it. Grist could potentially come out. Interesting hand. We have like Oof for Petals, Choke for their mana. This is very like a mana heavy, or a mana like sort of prison hand, which isn't too bad. Like Green Suns into Grist. Sorry, Green Suns into Gaddock Teeg isn't the worst. I think being upper game, I'm pretty happy to keep this and see how it performs. But it doesn't have a great card to put in off a show and tell, which is probably the toughest thing. If they made a Green Sun in every color, what color do you think would be the best? Blue would be interesting, like True Name, Murktide at high, Delver. Blue would be pretty cool in like a Merfolk deck. Hey, Orange Juice, thanks for the follow. Hope you're doing well. I'm gonna see how this plays. Based on my assumption that the hand's gonna be a little bit slower with more interaction. And we do have a basic for like a turn 1 Magus or something like that, which is kind of cool. A little bit weak, like we don't have anything to put off show and tell, as I said, or like an answer to an artifact or enchantment, but we'll see. Hey, 90s MTG, a huge thank you for the Prime sub. Too kind, too kind. Anyone here who hasn't seen 90s MTG, it is the best legacy, eternal content online. I'm just gonna go for Savannah Hierarch here. The Ponder chose to shuffle, which is interesting. Second best. No, if you're a fan of Legacy, if you're a fan of modern Eternal formats, definitely check out 90s. New Passeju does look very interesting for sure. 100%. Ha, you're more than welcome. Hope you're doing well. What's the weather like in New York at the moment? Is it hot? It is currently -1 degrees. Interesting. Cold. Tomb. Petal. Alright. Is there a world where we just put in Canopy here to just draw an extra card next turn? And to get the extra land drop in case they put in like Sneak or Omni? I think that's the case. There's nothing really better. Yeah. Like, there is a world where maybe Oof is better, so they can't like draw into Petals and keep going off, but they've already used 1, so... Unless they have like another 3 into Show and Tell, we're doing okay. Interesting, I guess maybe they tried to go for it there, but interesting that they drew there and now have to discard instead of just drawing on our turn. And then holding the cards for an additional turn. Big snowstorm coming? Nice. Very cool. That's cool to hear. Discard Simian... Oh, Simian Spirit Guide as well. Okay. I think sadly we just have to try to dig here for Caracas or Swords. We could attempt to play the Knight, but like... They go down to 4. They go up to 14, 15 cards. Like... I think it is just Sack Canopy or Bust here. Yeah. Definitely the weak part of the hand was not having a show and tell target, so... Gonna be a tough one. There is a world where they get greedy with a show and tell here, and the knight kind of pulls us out of it, but it's going to be tough. This feels like Omni. It has to be Omni, right? Yeah, Omni into Emery. Yep. Extra choke on the play. Ah. 1, 2, 3. We could have green sunned for Grist there, I guess, if we really wanted to. And killed the Grizzlebrand, right? Tough. I guess they would have had, like, just draw cards anyway, untap and then Omni Emery, but it would have been a nice out. Tough one. Might just be a Mum. Mum just not really a card I want to be playing on turn 1 anyway. No acceleration, but this hand's very appealing. It doesn't beat Magus the Moon, which is a card that I'm always a little bit worried about, but... Is it just too slow? We have so many good early plays, like Thalia, Deafening Silence, Acceleration, that I think this hand's a bit of a trap. I mean, it's great reactively, but otherwise it's not that great. Definitely a weird one. Like, we have a special knight for the Force. I don't like it. I could see a, like, I wouldn't say this is like a bad keep, but I want to be doing something turn 1 or turn 2. And this just doesn't do it, so. This has no mana. Rough. Tough. Okay. Bottom, 1 creature and removal. Yeah, I think it's these two. Tough though, because now we really need to hit that third mana off the top. But gotta risk it for the biscuit. Oh no. Oh no. Yep. Oh my gosh. Just take these out now. Alright. We go to 5. Oh, they keep it? They keep it, of course. I'm thinking of, yeah. Yeah. I was thinking of Sneak for a second. Yuck. Blue-red, Omni Sneak. Loss, win, loss. Tough. Definitely shows you the matchup at least. Not too much to hold on to. Maybe Thoughtseize would be cool. Especially in the Black Splash. I'm just a huge fan of Thoughtseize, so it would be nice to get a chance to get back into playing some hand disruption. A little bit more proactive as well than Deafening Silence. The issue is that Deafening Silence is just so strong against the decks where you really need it. I could see a cut on some of my 3-drops, but up against Cool 95. Yorion. We are on the draw. On the play, sorry. Yeah. A little bit risky, but we do have 2 ways to accelerate, which is nice. A little bit worse if they're on death taxes, but we do have Collect Oof, which is quite nice. D&T. Oh. I actually really like Library here over anything else. Especially to dig for like a removal spell for turn 2's Stoneforge Mystic. Maybe it is a blue deck that just started on basic planes. Nice. Port's not too bad. Cool. Easy pays. I think here I just like going for another Savannah. Playing Bird. And potentially also Green Sunning for Dried Arbor. I think having the Oof is pretty nice already. So I just want to build up my mana here. This is fine. We have 6 mana in total. It's pretty sweet. I think I like play Thalia and then just hold up Endurance as well. And Swords to Plowshares. If I play Thalia out, I can then hold up Swords or Insurance, which is quite cool. So I can attack you with the Arbor to see how they trade. Or if they just let it in. Most likely let it in. I think I'm happy to play Thalia out here. It is obviously open to a Caracas pretty early on, but if it is a creature I get to start attacking with, I'm happy to try to get there. And having swords for the Skyclave in response to like a Flicker Wisp is really strong. Recruiter is fine. Probably finding Flicker Wisp. I think in this game as well, I'm not going to show black. I'm going to really try to not play a black land. Just to act like a green-white Maverick deck, which isn't too hard. They find Solitude. Okay. They are pretty close to just casting Solitude, which is a little bit scary. I can also Prismatic Ending Solitude, which is kind of cool. If I do want to show black, because I can tap this for red and this for blue. I don't think I want to use the Prismatic Ending just yet. All right. Green Suns would be cool for like Grist. No, the Swords isn't too bad either. They'll probably take out the Endurance here. Take out the Thalia, which I really don't mind about. That's going to be fine. Also makes like blocks a little bit easier as well. I guess I didn't need to Swords there. Like, I'm probably happy them trading the Solitude with the Collector Oof. Just keeping them off some sort of life gain is what I want to be achieving here. They do have 6 cards in hand, which is pretty brutal. They might have double blocked Endurance. Yeah, Jitesh, there we go. Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, maybe I should have kept the sword to see if they double block. That's what you're here for. That's what you're here for. Okay. Sure. Mum. That's pretty huge. So I'm going to start with Prismatic Ending on the Skyclave. Get the token, attack for 5, put them to 6. And play Mum in second main. Okay. That's fine. That's why I didn't want to play the Mum in main phase 1 in case they swords the Mum instead. They could do like a small heads up play here. They could wasteland the Savannah to see if we have to fetch for like a black source. Skyclave's very good. Yeah. Happy just to 6 here. There is a world where we could like end step swords the Skyclave, get a 1/1 back, and then just attack for 2, 4, 5, 6, put them down to 3, but they gain 2, so they'll be at 5. They then play Yorion, the Recruiter, Solitude. Yeah, not great. I think I want to keep the sword. Caracas is huge, especially with Yorion as well. Hey Dammer, thank you for the raid. Too kind. What did you just play, and how did you go? And in the prelim, 2-2. Nice, very cool. That's fine. Saga. Rough. Caldra complete. That's gonna be fine. Interesting they went for Caldra complete over Yorion there. Huh, and not even attacking. That's huge, because now we get to use the Knight. Did not expect that. Thalia. Pretty dead, unfortunately. We can go after the Caracas here to turn them off being able to return Yorion. Get in for 1 in the air.
Tough though. I mean, the Saga's going to take over this game as well, but I think I just have to go for the Karakas with the value from Yorion. And just hope they don't have another. Alright. If they have a land as well, they can cast Yorion and hold up the Saga. And have another Karakas, even better. Yeah. I think we just take out the Skyclave here. It's just an easy way for them to deal with like the Knight. The Recruiter's probably going to get Solitude, if not another Skyclave. But I think it's just got to be Skyclave here. Just less mana efficient for them. They could have also done the second main and got a free attack in with the Germ. I kind of like that. They get Solitude. Tough. What if we get Karakas and return Yorion? They have 2 blockers for 2. Yeah, that doesn't do it. Hey Newton, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Tough spot. Knight can potentially go and get Canopy for another draw, but I think Knight's role here is to take out the Karakas when they tap it for Urza's Saga. There's no great attacks either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I think getting rid of the Karakas here is better than getting rid of the Saga. Like, both are just so powerful, but with Yorion in play, it's just going to really, really get out of hand. I think this game has come down to really just trying to get more time off my opponent's clock. I don't think we have a way to get back from this sort of value. And I assume we'll see Needle off the Saga here, probably naming Knight. Because other things just can't be activated due to Collector Oof, like Shadow Spear or Retrofitter. But I guess they do have Solitude in hand that we know about. But yeah, it's tough. It's been a game where they've just been able to hit land drops every turn, which is exactly what we really can't allow them to do. And our gameplay has been a little bit too fair in this game. A lot of mana, but nothing really to do with it. I mean, that gives us 2 in the air. And I think Knight here is most likely just going for an end step Canopy to draw a card. I don't want to do it now because I might actually just need it as a blocker. Unless they Solitude it, which isn't too bad. We gain 8 and then draw a card. And we can do something like if they're trying to gain life off Solitude, we can block with Arbor and then sack it to Knight, floating a mana and then drawing a card off Canopy. They hit the oof. That is going to be fine. Can't do too much there. But now these constructs get very big. Sure. I'm going to fetch here and get basic forest, I believe we still have. Again, I just don't want to show the blacks, the black splash. This is game 1, correct. The bird's definitely doing something, but with the Retrofitted Foundry in play, they're going to be able to like make a 1/1 and then make a... Probably even like do the whole thing. Block with a fly and then sack it for a 4/4 as well. Maybe I should have... Yeah, probably should have wastelanded beforehand to see if they would have done this proactively. I guess they had the mana left over, so... Then I think we'd have set on the swing back, unfortunately. Tough. I'm going to keep the Wasteland for Caracas. But being 5 minutes up is a pretty huge gain. I think it's just going to be the 3 Plagues, the 3 Force. I'll take out a port here. No great attacks again. Because if we attack with a bird, they just sack and then they have the 4/4. Interesting that they're not attacking with this. That scale's okay. I don't want to play the Scrubland again because I don't want to show the black, so... I believe we still have Caracas. Yep. They're not even going to cast it. It's classic. Okay. I'll get that last forest and then cast a knight. We can't get through white stuff just yet and black, so I don't think we have a way to get through with Mum here, but that's okay. This being indestructible as well is pretty hard to deal with, so... I could just see them making like a bunch of flyers with Retrofitter Foundry, but they're not even going to do that. Interesting. That will do it, I believe. Yes. All right. We don't want Teeg. We don't want Thalias. That's really it. I definitely want the Plagues and some amount of Force. I don't mind taking out the Ghost Quarter. Potentially the Ooze as well. A lot of things are exile in this matchup. And if they're bringing in something like Rest in Peace, Ooze is just a little bit worse. I don't mind Ramanap because it's a 2-3, which is just kind of nice against things like Skyclave. So I think just like a second Force is better than that. I think that's pretty good. Could bring in an additional Force if I really wanted to. Seeing the Retro and the Sagas makes me think I would do want the extra Force. Hey, White Hyena, welcome. I think that's just the board. 6 and 6. I'm pretty happy with this. Acceleration, and then turn 2, we have a few things to do. Just going to go for probably basic forest here. And then next turn, Mum and Bird, if we don't draw land. Okay. Now we also have access to Scrib Ranger, which is kind of nice. Or hold it. I think I'll hold the Green Suns for now. Something like a Grist to take out a Stoneforge Mystic would be really nice. Wow, aggressive. Okay. We went down to... Got up against Elves, went down to Omni Sneak, which is pretty normal. They kept in Thalia. Interesting. Could Green Suns for 2 here. I kind of like just ending on Thalia. Just so he can Green Suns next turn for a little for Grist or something like that. Actually, here, 4-color Loam, we lost against. RUG Rhino, we got up against. Elves, we got up against. And then Blue-Red Omni Sneak, we didn't win. There's Stoneforge, which is nice. Probably getting Cauldron complete. That's very true, Newton. That's a good point. They might just have not enough to deal with other things. That's pretty interesting. Huh. I think I like just getting Grist on the field, but Skyclave Apparition's obviously a card that can deal with it pretty easily. I could also just go for Questing Beast here. I don't mind that. Get in for 5. And then if they try to attack with an equipped Stoneforge, like we have the force to hit it. Like this is more than fine. Okay. I mean, now we have like 2 targets for the force, which is even better for us. Questing Beast is kind of like the role of Cauldron Complete in Mav here. I mean, if they spend 2 mana to equip the Jide, I'm pretty happy. Yeah, like this is fine. Nice, yeah. Like, that can just end games, which is really nice. So, really nice to have the force to hold on to, and then just Questing Beast to really apply pressure early on. But running it back, probably just the same. My only consideration is Endurance, because it's just a solid attacker and defender. Like, Flicker Wisp, Thopter tokens, it's not too bad. Like, I'm not too sure if it's better than Knight. I think it isn't, seeing that we're playing against a Saga build, so Knight getting Wasteland is actually quite good. So I think it is just going to be a run back of this. Yeah, pretty good mix of decks, which is nice. A bit of combo, a bit of mid-range, which is pretty sweet. A tough hand. It doesn't have white mana, but it has a few ways to try to get towards ramming up an endurance, but I don't think that's good enough. I think I really want to see just like early plays from myself, maybe Swords to Plowshares. That I think I'm pretty happy to mulligan this. What's the main reason for desilence over discard? That's a good one. I think I like desilence because it can kind of deal with multiple cards in a turn. So against like 8 cast, I could potentially take something like a Sai or an Emery, but they can then just like kind of go off, I guess, still. I think I like a mix going forward. I think I like a 3-3 split. But I like that desilence is something on the field they have to deal with. So it takes a card out of their hand to deal with it and also slows them down, which is kind of what I want to be doing with Maverick to try to get a bunch of other things going. Risky, but I guess we'll keep it dropping the Dryad. And just hoping that this Noble sticks. Okay. I think I'm kind of tuned in to go for a Savannah here. Because if I get basic Forest, it's just a little bit too awkward if they like get rid of everything. But yeah, I do like Thoughtseize, especially as like a more proactive play. I'd love to see Stoneforge here. We can ending it. Yeah, nice. But yeah, black's nice because I think the especially for Maverick, we have to be pretty reactive. Or you have to be pretty proactive. So you have to get like Gaddock Teeg on the field through Green Suns before they go off with Natural Order. Or you have to know if you want to go for a Collector Oof with Green Suns instead of going for like a threat. So Thoughtseize is really nice because it gives you the information about how you should actually Green Suns either the following turn or if you Thoughtseize before you Green Suns. And Thoughtseize is also nice because it comes in against decks that wouldn't otherwise be a deck you'd sideboard for with Deafening Silence. Like I think Stoneblade decks is fine to bring in Thoughtseize. Okay. This is actually a tough one. They got the Jide, but I feel like if they have like an actual like Kaldra, then we're just going to die to the Stoneforge Mystic. I could potentially hold up the Outland Liberator, but that's not great either. I don't want to play this without having a target in play. If I play this out and then they play like a Skyclave Apparition, take out the Outland Liberator, it just feels like a bit of a loss. I think because we just died to Kaldra, that is just too big of a hit to not be able to just ending this right now. Yeah, so I think we'll actually play the Cradle out and use that for mana. And then we can also get 1 damage in. Could always ending the Germ, that's very true. Yeah, that's definitely something to consider. Spirit's going to be okay. They do have the Jide, so I do have to worry about that. So land's pretty nice because we get to go... Land's kind of awkward. Because we can't play Liberator and a Knight and hold up mana here, I believe. I could just take out the Spirit, to be fair. It can end in Bold Spores to some extent, with like Mother of Runes, but that's definitely tough. So we have access to 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. If we play out the Liberator here, we have access to 2, 3 mana, which means we can play a 3-drop, but we won't have Liberator up, which knowing that they have Jide in hand, I don't think is an option. So I think here it's just going to be Liberator pass. Okay. Sure. Here, I'm happy to trade this with Dried Arbor and then get Dried Arbor back with the Ramanap. It's a pretty nice trade for us. So let's go 2 mana, 3 mana, Ramanap. I don't need to get back Dried Arbor here. I can just get back Windswept Heath, which is kind of nice. And then I get to attack for 3 with Exalted. There is a world there actually where Knight is just better if I'm not getting back the Dried Arbor. Yorion to hand. Alright. Oof. Oof. Okay. Get back Windswept double fetch. How do I want to do this? I think I want to fetch as well, just to hold up the mana so they can't like respond to the Liberator. Four mana, 5 mana. Yeah, this leaves 2 left over for the other knight. Or I can hold up Force of Vigor. I kind of like just playing second knight here, because we have the Outland Liberator anyway for the swords. For the, yeah. I also get to attack here with the Ramen up as a 3/4. Because if they try to double block, we can Liberator them to Spirit. Saga's gonna be fine. But that is a pretty good target for Force. We also have Wasteland here, so... Yorion's gonna be okay. Is that just a play to get it into... Just trying to get it into play? Okay. I'm going to play the Canopy into play because I just want to be able to draw a card. And I'm just going to pass here. I'm going to wait for their upkeep to do anything. I want to see what they put in off this vial first. And if they put nothing in, then I definitely just want to force it right now. Probably this and the Saga. Nice. And now I probably want to also take out the Caracas here. With Wasteland. Whew. Just to keep them off that like 6 mana where they can like do 2. Why is this, Ugh, it looks like it's lagging. Not now. Not now. Nice. And then use that mana left over to draw a card. Oh, no, the Spirit! No, it's fine, because it's their turn. We're Gucci. We're Gucci. This is all sweet. Port's gonna be okay. I think we just return the Yorion and their end step and untap. Yeah, this is looking really good. Like, we get to... Yeah, this is looking insane. We get to return Yorion end step and then untap return Thalia, attack with this, trigger, kill the Spirit. Nice. Return this. We will play the Wasteland. Yeah, really, really strong position because we get to attack with everything, trigger on the Frenzied, kill the Spirit, and get there. Which is nice. Really nice to get up against D&T. Obviously, opponent there didn't really have a great start. It looks like they had like an okay start, but just didn't really hit the gas they needed to. And luckily, yeah, keeping that Stoneforger Bay with the Prismatic Ending worked out a treat, which is cool. So We get up against Yorion D&T, which is pretty sweet. 2-1. Yeah, pretty close. I think going forward, let's go to DeckTech. I would like to fit Thoughtseize in the board. I really like just like 5 3/3s. The main deck was fine. I think if I'm going to fit Thoughtseize in, I'm probably going to go down on a Force of Vigor. Seeing that we play Collector Oof, Knight of Autumn, Outland Liberator, and Prismatic Endings in the main deck, I think that's pretty easy. I think going down on a Choke is fine as well, and potentially even an Endurance. We already have one in the main deck. It does open us up a little bit more to graveyard decks, but I think something like this could be pretty solid. It really shores up the combo matchup, which is nice. And again, it's just nice and clean, which is pretty cool. So I think that might just be the way forward to see how I go with Abzan. I would also like to try out a Planeswalker or two. I think Kaya is pretty solid, the 4-drop one. Ghost Assassin, I believe it's called. But yeah, overall, I think the deck is pretty sweet. A huge thank you to you guys for coming in and watching. That's going to be me. A big thank you to the sponsors of the channel. Card Hoarder, of course, who allow me to play these decks. And MTG Mate, who is an Australian online card seller. A big thank you to the new subs and followers. Too kind. And yeah, just to Legacy for going for it. I'm going to see who else is playing. But I should be back online probably tomorrow morning. Which should be pretty fun. I think I'll still keep going with Mav. But yeah, just want to really try to shore up those combo matchups where hopefully Thoughtseize can do something pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. But until then, we're going to raid the Legacy Pit. If you want to find me on YouTube, you can find me here. If you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me here as well. All my content goes there and some recorded games. So definitely check that out and sub if you do enjoy this content. But until then, stay safe, enjoy your weeks, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.